It is middays. We welcome now Caleb Sailors, Multimedia Journalist, SuperTalk Mississippi News.
That Huey Lewis playing, but I'm bringing the news. So.
All right. All right. What you got for us today, Caleb?
What don't I have, Gerard? We had a lot going on this week. Sad story out of Hattiesburg. MJ Daniels, a star player out of George County High School, initially went to Ole Miss to play football before transferring to Southern Miss to be closer to his hometown, was shot and killed Tuesday night at the Ivy Row apartment complex in Hattiesburg. And, police are still working to figure out what happened. We have been told by a source that there have been multiple arrests made in connection to the case. Ben Milam, one of our other reporters, is currently in contact with law enforcement down there in Hattiesburg to try to get all the information. And so you can keep up with us online at supertalk.fm. We're going to keep you posted on that. But what I've been told was that there was a carjacking. A group of teenagers were trying to carjack MJ Daniels. He apparently reached for something, and then that's when they shot and killed him. And so, very sad situation. I know the Hattiesburg community is mourning him, and everybody, that has children is mourning the loss of, someone that was so young and had so much potential in his, not only professional life, but life in general. From all accounts, he appeared to be a really good kid. It's tragic to see anybody lose their life over something very, very, stupid. But we're working to confirm the details of that story, so you can keep up with us at supertalk.fm. Also, a developing story out of DeSoto County in North Mississippi. An inmate is reported to be escaped. Joshua Zimmerman, who is arrested on multiple charges, one including attempted murder, and he's also is facing charges out of Houston, Texas, in connection with the death of a woman. He was scheduled to appear in the courthouse this morning for a hearing regarding his charges. Well, he escaped. Sheriff Thomas Tuggle said that their fugitive task force in DeSoto County is out in full force trying to find the man. The courthouse has been placed on temporary lockdown, and so anyone with information about that, our listening audience in North Mississippi or all over, if you are in contact with the man or know anything about him, his picture is on our website. If you see him or know anything about it, contact your local law enforcement. That is straight from the Sheriff's Department in DeSoto County. And, they're all hands are on deck there to try to find the man. And so that's all we have there. We'll keep you updated whenever he's inevitably caught. We'll have you posted on supertalk.fm. Gerard, we have a blood shortage in Mississippi, and I know nationally there's a national blood shortage too, but the Mississippi Blood Services is calling on people to come out, and right now over the summer months they usually have a drop in donations anyway, and Christopher Swafford, their director, is saying, look, we need blood. We need all types of blood. All types are accepted, but especially those who are like me. I'm an O-negative blood donor, which is universal. If you have O-negative blood, you are especially encouraged to go out and give blood. And so if you have a chance, an opportunity, a lunch break or something, go out and give blood. It really doesn't take that long. It's an easy process. They'll give you some cookies and a drink and possibly a T-shirt too. And I know Mississippi Blood Services is always running, giving out awards and prizes to people, trying to incentivize them to come out and give blood. It's a simple thing to do, and I would encourage everybody that's able to do it to go do it. And Gerard, we had a story this week, more of a nationally relevant story, but the state of Arkansas changed one of their statues in the U.S. Capitol to Daisy Bates, a civil rights icon, journalist in the time, and that statue's right next to Jefferson Davis of Mississippi. Mississippi's two statues in the U.S. Capitol are Jefferson Davis, former Confederate president, and also J.Z. George, who was a Confederate politician at the time. Well, we had Representative Fred Shanks on our airwaves earlier this week. Obviously, you talked to him, and he floated out the idea of Mississippi, introducing legislation next year, as early as next year during the legislative session, to change the two statues, to remove that, troubled past of the Confederacy and move to a new future. I know Democratic leaders have advocated for this for a long time, and I know some Republicans are very open to many Republicans, probably most, are very open to the idea too. And he said he wants to get the ball rolling on that. And he floated out Elvis. He said it's Elvis or nothing. He wanted Elvis Presley to be one of the two statues. So I got to thinking of some of the best icons Mississippi has to offer, but really most of them were in the entertainment industry. You think of people like Morgan Freeman. You think of people like B.B. King and other icons. I mean, it would be a really neat thing for Mississippi to join other states in removing the Confederate past, removing that part of our state's history, and kind of looking to a new future. And so we could see legislation introduced about that as early as next session.
Unbelievable. So let me ask you this. Does anybody know why are Arkansas and Mississippi next to each other? Is it based on when they were admitted to the Union, or because I don't think that'd be alphabetical.
They're definitely not alphabetical. I would say it's years when they were admitted to the Union. That would make sense to me.
This would be in Statuary Hall? Is that where all this is?
In Statuary Hall in the Capitol, yes. Yeah. That would make sense to me. I'm not 100% sure. I could definitely go look and confirm that. But
Rhino's looking it up.
Rhino can confirm it then. But yeah, and so it'll give the Magnolia State an opportunity to move forward with other states. We've already changed our state flag here locally, and today's Flag Day. I see you've got your Flag Day shirt on, Gerard. But
proudly wearing my American flag shirt.
Absolutely. Well, Mississippi, a study came out recently that we're the 11th most recognized flag in the U.S., and I'm sure the former state flag was probably one of the most recognized, but for all the wrong reasons. And so we changed our state flag. And now we have an opportunity to change, this element, and because people from all over the world go to Statuary Hall and look at every state's emblems, the representation from those states, and people who may not know who Jefferson Davis or Jay-Z George are will use their phones and look it up, and then maybe a visceral reaction follows that. And so this will give people an opportunity to see the beauty of Mississippi's history and beauty of Mississippi's culture. And I know there will be some pushback saying that you're trying to erase history, but you're always going to have those naysayers anytime any kind of legislation like that is mentioned. I mean, you had people that were vehemently opposed to the flag changing and that still hold to that stance today. But anyone that thinks sensibly and rationally can say that changing the flag was for the better for Mississippi.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that if we begin deliberating the changing of the statues in Statuary Hall, that might be a very contentious discussion.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I agree. But, Gerard, who are some figures you would think that Mississippi could change?
Well, Fred talked about Elvis, which I think he's universally known as much as anyone, and I think it's consistent with our being the birthplace of America's music. I think the combination of he perhaps and B.B. King. I mean, some may say, well, that's two musical artists, but they're very known and highly respected figures in their fields, and I think it says something good about Mississippi.
Absolutely, and that's what we're known as the birthplace of America's music.
It's fun.
Speaking of music, Gerard, Mississippi's favorite music trio, Chapel Hart, who were finalists on America's Got Talent a couple of seasons ago, are getting back to their roots. They're going back to Poplarville, their hometown, and hosting a free concert, not tomorrow, but next Saturday, the 22nd, at Pearl River Community College's, I'm trying to see the Dobby Holden Stadium, and it's a free concert. They'll be joined with Todd Tillman, who won The Voice Season 18. He's a Meridian native, and they will be putting on a show. And the members of Chapel Hart said this was an opportunity for them to give back to the community that raised them and did everything for them. And they know that, in small town and in rural Mississippi, people don't have a whole lot of money, and so they get to do something that's free. And they've gotten interest from people all the way from down to New Orleans up to Missouri that are wanting to go to little old Poplarville, Mississippi in Pearl River County to see them perform. And so I'm looking forward to it. I actually plan on going out to that concert next Saturday, and so I'll be able to report back from that. And so it's cool to see. And Chapel Hart has broken a lot of barriers in country music, and they continue to make new music. They're actually recording a Christmas album, and they'll kind of be unveiling it more and more in July as they celebrate Christmas in July. And so it'll be neat to see some of Mississippi's finest musicians taking the main stage here as they continue to travel nationally too. And one final story, Gerard, on my end is Ole Miss has made a pitching coach hire, and we have talked about Ole Miss baseball a lot in conversations that weren't on air. But one of the things that after back-to-back seasons that didn't meet expectations, according to athletics director Keith Carter, he practically informed head coach Mike Bianco, like, hey, you need to make a staff change, and one of those needs to be a pitching coach. And for the past 24 years, Bianco has been calling the pitches. He's controlled operations on the mound and in the bullpen, and that's been his calling card, and that's been kind of his baby at Ole Miss. And so Joel Mangrum is a Brandon native, Northwest Rankin, and Mississippi College alum who has coached at the collegiate and professional ranks. He comes to Oxford to be the pitching coach, and by all accounts, Keith Carter made it known that he will be the one overseeing all the operations on the mound and let Bianco be more of a manager.
Sounded like, just reading between the lines, it could have been a condition of remaining as the skipper of the program.
Yes. Reading between the lines, it was kind of mandatory that this would happen. And we'll see how it happens. If the guy immensely qualified, you can read more on it at supertalk.fm. I broke down his success in the professional and college ranks. Look at what he did at New Mexico State. You'll really see, this guy's qualified for the job.
Yeah, got you. All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Caleb. Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Gerard. I appreciate it.
You bet. We're coming right back, folks, in the Element Wealth Studio.